Hello everybody, my name is Joe and today I'm going to analyze the documentary 10 Minute Tower, which is a Sweden documentary and directed by Maximilian Van Atrik and Alex Danielsen. This is a 16 minutes and 15 seconds documentary which also appeared at the 2007 Sundance Film Festival. In this documentary, 6 people were paid equivalent of $30 to climb and walk on the 10-meter diving board. It is not just a documentary, but also an entertaining study of human behavior. People who never been there before have to choose whether to jump or climb down. The situation itself highlights a dilemma to weigh the instinctive fear of taking steps out against the humiliation of having to climb down. Just like director said, they sought to capture people facing different situations to make a portrait human in doubt. In this documentary, fixed multiple camera angle and diverse documentary modes are used in, which gives different impact on the both audience and the documentary itself. Next, I'm going to discuss the use of different modes in this documentary. Obviously, from a big picture, 10 Minute Tower is an observational mode documentary. Filmmakers want to study the human behavior and what people gonna do. There are no external influence during the whole documentary except the presence of the cinema camera. I will discuss about it later. The first observational features is that there are no voiceover and narration in this documentary. Director just want the most real reaction of these 6-7 people, whether they are going to jump, and there are also no intervention in this film, and only capture the reality of people. I think this constructs the reality of the content and the documentary itself. And also, there are no arranged interviews, scenes on. There are no arranged interviews and scenes on only. Directors do not want to influence the people, and so they won't talk to them, and only the voice of the people and the conversation between themselves. I think it leads the content become the one without the external influence and make it more real, I think. And we can see that it happens in real location, and there are natural lighting. Location obviously is a 10-meter jump board, and also I personally believe that it enhances the reality of the content and make the documentary convincible. Another documentary pod of use of documentary pod in this docu is poetic mode, and we know that poetic mode is from the objective reality of a given situation and grabs at an inner truth. In 10-Minute Tower, the situation is whether they are jumped from the 10-Minute Tower, and the inner truth, I believe, it's human study in vulnerable situation. I think this feature make the content directly show the main conflict and the dilemma in this documentary. And also, poetic modes emphasize visuals to encourage the audience to understand that inner truth. In this documentary, directors focus on different people's action and reaction when they are on the board, and I think it's leads the content focus on the main issues, and which helps audience to understand the inner truth that director want to convey. And also, poetic mode arrives at its point by arranging footage to invoke an association through the tone, rhythm, and special juxtaposition. In this documentary, utilize the special juxtaposition of the same location and the situation for 6-7 different people. It's used in this documentary, and also there are no linear continuity in this documentary, which means there are no storyline. I think direction not want to tell a story, but want to tell the concept, and also it enhances the inner truth that the content and the documentary want to convey, and it also clarifies the main purpose of this documentary. Next, I want to talk about some specific content impact on the documentary and what makes this documentary. Apparently, we can see that there are no intervention and interview when people are on the diving board. So I think it leads the documentary to a direct cinema and reveal the most true reaction of these 6-7 people. But also, it presents the camera and the microphones, and 6-7 people know that they are on the camera, they are facing the camera, and I think it makes the inner truth of this documentary become more complicated. I think director want to study and research the reaction of the people when they are facing the camera, and I think it is more complicated than when people do not facing the camera. And we can see that in this documentary also. The use of shooting and editing skills also make the give more details and give more details of this documentary. Different kinds of shots and may enhance the main conflict in this documentary. We can see people's emotion and people's face move and something like that. And split screen also enhance the contrast, and slow motion give us the feeling and make us like in the documentary. About these two filmmakers' individual style in this documentary, I think there are three main style of them. The first one is they are not trying to telling story, and they are considered documentary as a study and the experiment, but not like a story. And they are trying to convey their idea, but not the story. And I think they combine both objective and subjective elements. From big picture, they don't want to intervene people's behavior and people's thought. They just want the real behavior. But also, but on the other side, they want to make the inner truth more complicated, so they add some subjective elements, such as presence of the camera and the microphones. And the last, I think, is they want to portray human behavior to convey the concept and the conclusion rather than tell the stories. Thank you for your listening.